Foodology's cutting jelly sticks are marketed as a simple way to curb your appetite and melt away fat. That's a big promise for something that looks more like a fruity gel snack than a weight loss tool. So instead of taking the claims at face value, let's break down what cutting jelly actually contains and what the science really says about how well it works. At its core, cutting jelly is a squeezable gel packaged in stick form. Each stick is mostly water blended with fruit concentrates along with sweeteners such as sugar alcohols. It also contains a mix of dietary fibers that help give it a jelly-like texture. The ingredient that gets the most attention in Foodology's marketing, though, is Garcinia Cambogia. Garcinia Cambogia is a tropical fruit extract that's often promoted as an appetite suppressant and fat burner. Some clinical studies do show small weight loss effects of a few pounds over 2 to 3 months, but there's an important catch. Those benefits typically appear at very high doses, usually around 5 grams per day of an extract standardized to contain 50% hydroxycitric acid, or HCA, the compound thought to be responsible for its effects. At lower doses, Garcinia Cambogia hasn't been shown to produce meaningful weight or fat loss beyond what you'd expect from a placebo. Foodology's cutting jelly provides about 1.2 grams of Garcinia Cambogia extract per stick, but the label doesn't mention whether that extract is standardized for hydroxycitric acid, or HCA, the compound people are actually hoping to get benefits from. That detail matters more than it might sound. Most non-standardized Garcinia Cambogia extracts contain only around 8% HCA by weight. If that's the case here, each stick would deliver roughly 100 milligrams of HCA. That's far below the doses used in studies that showed even modest effects. By the way, I review a lot of supplements here, so subscribe and hit the bell to stay updated, and support me on Ko-fi if you enjoy the content. If cutting jelly has any real appetite-suppressing effect, it's more likely coming from its fiber content than from the Garcinia Cambogia. The jelly contains a mix of fibers, including indigestible maltodextrin, locust bean gum, small amounts of prebiotic fibers, and chia seeds. While the marketing tends to highlight ingredients like chia seeds, the heavy lifting is almost certainly being done by the resistant starches, especially indigestible maltodextrin. In fact, that indigestible maltodextrin is most likely fibersol 2, a well-known soluble prebiotic fiber that's commonly added to foods and supplements. Small human studies suggest fibersol 2 can slightly reduce hunger and improve feelings of fullness, but only at fairly high doses, around 10 grams per day. Lower doses don't seem to do much. Foodology's jelly appears to provide around 5 grams per serving, which means you'd likely need 2 sticks to reach a dose that might actually have an effect. Soluble fibers work by absorbing water and forming a thick gel-like substance in the digestive tract, which slows digestion and helps your stomach feel fuller for longer. That feeling of fullness can naturally reduce how much you eat. So if cutting jelly works at all, it's essentially acting like a fibersol 2 fiber supplement. The other fibers listed, including chia seeds, probably contribute very little. That said, fibersol 2 isn't particularly impressive compared to other soluble fibers. While it does help with fullness, the overall strength of evidence and the magnitude of its effects are relatively modest. There are other fibers with much stronger track records for appetite. One standout is glucomannan, a soluble fiber derived from the cognac root. Gram for gram, it's one of the thickest and most viscous fibers available, which makes it especially effective at promoting fullness. Because it holds so much water, you only need a small amount, usually just 1 to 3 grams to see results. That's why glucomannan works even when taken in capsule form, something most other fibers can't pull off. The downside is that it can cause side effects like gas, bloating, or constipation in some people, especially if taken without water. Also, its benefits are mostly mechanical. It fills you up rather than providing much nutrition or being a good prebiotic. Another option is chitosan, a fiber derived from chitin, the material found in the shells of shrimp, crab, and lobster. Chitosan works a bit differently than most fibers because it carries a slight positive electrical charge, similar to static electricity. This allows it to bind to certain negatively charged molecules such as cholesterol and dietary fats, reducing their absorption. Thanks to this unique property, relatively small doses, again around 1 to 3 grams, can still be effective. Another strong option is psyllium husk, which comes from the seeds of a plant called Plantago ovata. The easiest way to think of psyllium is a gentler, more forgiving cousin of glucomannan. It's a straightforward soluble fiber that works mainly by adding physical bulk in your digestive system. While it doesn't thicken up quite as aggressively or absorb as much water as glucomannan, it's usually much easier on the stomach. Psyllium is also widely available and inexpensive, especially if you buy it in bulk. The trade-off is dose. To really see the benefits, you typically need around 10 to 20 grams per day. That's far too much to squeeze into a few capsules, which is why psyllium almost always comes as a powder you mix into water or food, rather than a pill you swallow. Inulin is another soluble fiber, most commonly extracted from chicory root. It's often used as an alternative to psyllium husk and is especially popular for relieving constipation. However, inulin has a downside that many people notice quickly: gas and bloating. Inulin is highly fermentable, meaning your gut bacteria love to feast on it. And as they do, they produce gas, which can leave you feeling uncomfortably bloated, sometimes more than you'd expect from a fiber supplement. Flaxseed is a fantastic soluble fiber, and it deserves special mention, especially for women. In addition to fiber, flaxseed is rich in omega-3 fatty acids and phytoestrogens, compounds that might be helpful during menopause or for hormone-related weight changes. To get the most out of flaxseed though, the form matters. Whole flaxseed you grind or blend yourself tend to preserve more of these beneficial compounds. Pre-ground flaxseed powders are convenient, but some of the nutritional value can be lost during processing and storage. Oatmeal is probably the most familiar soluble fiber source in North America. It's affordable, easy to find, and packed with beta-glucans, which are linked to a range of health benefits. That said, oatmeal is relatively low in soluble fiber by weight compared to other options. A full cup of oatmeal provides roughly the same amount of soluble fiber as just 2 tablespoons of flaxseed. It also comes with a decent amount of carbohydrates, so if you're following a low-carb or keto-style diet, oatmeal may not be the most efficient way to boost your soluble fiber intake. Chia seeds are famous for their ability to absorb water and form a gel-like structure. Like flaxseed, they're nutrient-dense and offer more than just fiber. While chia seeds aren't the most powerful option for appetite control or weight loss, especially compared to fibers like glucomannan, they do bring more overall nutrition to the table than many other soluble fibers. Fibers like guar gum, xanthan gum, and gum arabic are commonly added to foods as thickeners to improve their texture. Despite their widespread use, research does not show that these gums meaningfully reduce appetite or support weight loss. They may change how food feels, but they don't seem to do much for hunger control. Sea moss, also known as Irish moss, contains a soluble fiber called carrageenan. Like the gums mentioned earlier, carrageenan is mainly used to thicken foods. When it comes to weight loss though, the evidence isn't encouraging. Studies suggest that sea moss and carrageenan don't offer much benefit for appetite or fat loss. In fact, some research indicates that removing carrageenan from your diet may actually improve blood sugar control. When you zoom out and look at the big picture, Foodology's Cutting Jelly is mostly a flavored snack with a modest amount of added fiber. That fiber may slightly reduce hunger, but the product also contains sugar and promotes snacking, which makes it less than ideal if weight loss is your main goal. I'd place Fibersol 2 in the moderate category for weight loss effectiveness, roughly on par with oatmeal and chia seeds, but without the extra nutritional benefits. In other words, it's not as good as using straight oatmeal or chia seeds. If you're using soluble fiber to support weight loss, it's important to keep expectations realistic. Even the best fibers won't magically cause fat loss on their own. Their real role is to help you feel fuller, so you naturally eat less. That means taking them before or with meals, using them to curb snacking, and consciously reducing your portion sizes. Fiber can support your efforts, but it won't force you to eat less the way certain medications can. Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Yeung. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to share them in the comments down below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And if you know someone who could benefit from this, please share it with them. Finally, if you enjoy what we do and want to learn more, consider supporting us on Ko-fi, and be sure to check out our other socials as well.